guys, and welcome back to Blues Fans TV. I am Sophie Rose and I'm going to go through the 5 reasons why I believe we lost against Bayern Munich and made a swift exit out of the Champions League. Now, I think it was a great achievement to get to the knockout stages. I've always said I don't believe there's any point in being in competitions unless you can fight till the end. You at least want to make sure that even if you're not as talented as the other team, or you haven't got, the money invested in you as a collective, that you give it your all and you believe that you can go and win these things. And that's what happened to us in 2012. The odds were against us and we went out and we won it, and I firmly believe that was because we didn't give up. We had the belief that we could win no matter what was against us, and we put out one of the best performances that I've seen us play, especially against Barcelona, not just in the final, the semi-final before that. So I didn't see any of that resemblance on Saturday. I saw probably the total opposite, actually, and I'm going to go through 5 things that I believe contributed to our loss. In at number 1 then is going to be none other than our defence. From the get-go, this was just unacceptable for me. I want to make a special mention to our left back. I think Emerson did a terrible job. I think he left his player unmarked. I think that whole side of the field was left open numerous amounts of times, and Bayern Munich just found it far too easy to get into the box and score goals. We allowed that to happen. Our defending has not been great all this season. Despite Dave being our captain, he hasn't even had the best run of form, and I think just overall it's just sloppy. We've got no leader in that back line. I say this in most of my 5 reasons, actually, and I feel like it doesn't get better, it just gets worse. It's not like we're at a stable level here, or we're seeing a few mistakes that need to be corrected each week or each game. No matter what the competition is, we seem to make new errors, new mistakes that cost us goals and cost us games. And when you concede 4 goals in a Champions League match, yes, I know it's Bayern Munich and they're far more experienced than our side at the moment, considering most of our players haven't played in the Premier League, or not most, but a lot of our players haven't played in the Premier League, let alone for Chelsea Football Club, until Frank came in. Although that was due to a transfer ban, nevertheless, they're just above and beyond better than us. People criticise Zouma's performance, and we did go with a different formation. We went with 4-4-2. I actually think that did us more harm than good. I would have preferred us to start with wing backs. I'm sure Frank was thinking, let's just keep the back line solid and try and prevent as many goals as possible, but our defending was useless. We didn't man mark. I think when you have the likes of Lewandowski in your team, the number 1 rule should be, before the game even starts, in the pre-training, whatever it is, should be, do not let that player out of your sight. Make sure you're marking him at all times. The penalty that was conceded by Caballero, do I think Kepa would have done a better job? No. I think it was a bit of a silly tackle. Well, he's trying to get the ball, but I think probably right to give a penalty there. But before that, Lewandowski was able to run through all 4 of our defence. We weren't switched on. We weren't looking for him. And again, that cost us a goal. And obviously, when that happens early on in the game, it's especially away from home, it can be a little bit intimidating, and the home side do seem a little bit more dominant, especially when you have the quality of Bayern Munich as your opposition. So terrible defending. Zouma has got a lot of slack as well. By no means do I think any of the defenders played well. I think there were a couple of times where Zouma had sort of 50-50 chance of which way to go, and I think that was due to other defenders not staying in their position, such as Emerson. And yeah, just a really, really poor performance all round there. And we've got to sort out our defence in this transfer window. We have got to make some new signings. We have got to find another left back. I think we need another couple of centre backs, if I'm being honest. I think we've tried every scenario there. We've tried Zouma Rudiger, we've tried Christensen Rudiger, we've tried Zouma with Christensen. Nothing has worked. And we need that leader in the team. We don't have that. Now JT's left, we don't have that one player in the defence to communicate and to tell everyone what to do and where to mark. Because I get it, games can be intense and you can sometimes slip off for a little bit, but if you have somebody like John Terry in the team, if you have that figure that can, say, hey, look behind you, that's just that sort of thing. I don't see that happening. I don't see the back four communicating with each other. I just think it's poor all round and needs to be fixed. Reason number 2 I think we lost then is our mentality. I think Bayern came out to win that game. Some teams might be quite comfortable having known that we're in a 3-goal deficit already and they're more or less likely to go through. But they kept pushing us and pushing us and pushing us till the end, even when they conceded. Especially the goalkeeper looked very, very disappointed in himself. which is a shame for me, because I think if we'd shown more initiative, we could have got a couple more goals. I do want to give a special shout out. I think Hudson-Odoi's goal was very good. It's a shame that it was ruled off by offside. Damn VAR, as usual. But, you know, it's worked in our favour at some points during the season as well. But, you know, he was able to use his brain, take a shot, and it paid off. And that showed that their goalkeeper was there to be taken advantage of, and I wish we'd used that to our advantage a little bit more. I do think we could have got a couple more goals, but we just don't have the mentality they did. I think we looked very tired. I don't think we were in the game from the get-go, really. I think their talent just outweighed us, and, you know, it was sort of our downfall, and I feel like we were lucky to get away with only conceding 4 goals, if I'm being honest. Number 3 is the quality of the opposition up front compared to ours. Now, Tammy did get a goal, let's give him praise there. I did think it was a goal. I think it was a mistake from the Bayern keeper, but I also think that was his 50th appearance and 18th goal. I'll check that up, I think that's the right stat, but again, it's not really good enough. I'm not saying that Tammy and Giroud are terrible strikers, because Giroud has played some great games for us. Even when he doesn't score, his link-up play tends to be a lot better than some of our other options, such as Batshuayi or Tammy. And although Tammy started very well at the start of the season, I feel like it's sort of drifted off. But nevertheless, you know, I don't think he had a terrible game. I just think that when you look at Bayern's up front compared to ours, Lewandowski is such a natural born goal scorer. He not only knows how to run into space, to run through defenders, he's able to put the ball in the back of the net. He took a fantastic penalty. He then scored a second goal towards the end of the game, which I thought again was phenomenal. And we don't have that in our team, and you need the best of both worlds. You need a solid defence, you sort of need your team to just work together. And I don't think that necessarily means having 11 top players in your side. I think it means having 11 players that work really well together, that have clear talent, and he definitely has that. I think we were linked with Lewandowski at one point, but apparently he was too old for us or something, which I think is just crazy. I would love to have him at Chelsea, it's just never going to happen. But I'm glad we've signed Werner, and I'm just hoping that as the transfer season progresses, transfer window progresses, that we make another signing, because we've always relied on just one striker. We've relied on Diego Costa or Drogba. You know, we've never had 2 fantastic strikers up front. When I look at Liverpool, they've got natural born goal scorers in their team. They've got Salah, they've got Mane, they've got an array of options. As to Bayern Munich, and we don't have that. You know, we're sort of thinking, okay, which one should we put up front today? Who do we think is going to play better today? We never know who's going to give a good performance, and I think that's quite tricky for Frank to know what his best starting 11 is, what his best front line is, because I don't think us even as Chelsea fans know, because it changes every week. So was I surprised? I was a little bit surprised Giroud didn't start, but nevertheless, I don't think it would make a difference. We were just outclassed in that area of the pitch, and you know, I'm excited for Werner to come. We haven't seen what he could do, and I'm just hopeful that we make one more forward signing, because I think it would really help us going into next season in all competitions. In at number 4 then is that we don't have a plan B. I think I mentioned this in my last 5 reasons why, or maybe the one before that. We have no plan B. We made 1 sub, and that was Tammy off for Giroud. We're allowed to make a maximum of 5, I think. And we had players on the bench that I haven't heard of. We even had the likes of Tomori on the bench. So he could have mixed up the defence, but Frank chose not to do that. I'm not sure that he thinks it would have made any difference. Do I think it would have? Probably not. But that's because we don't have a solid plan B. We don't have that plan B that can take us to the next level. If I was Frank, I'd be thinking, I don't want us to lose. I don't want this to get even more embarrassing. And that's why he didn't change it up too much. But yeah, it was an embarrassing performance, I think, for us. And I think to lose 7-1 on aggregate is incredibly disappointing. It's not something that we should ever strive for. You know, we were all laughing when Tottenham lost 7-2, but what's really the difference over 2 legs? You know, I think we just have to improve in all areas of the pitch. And there was multiple times during the game where you could see that they were just far better than us. One thing that Bayern Munich do that really impresses me is that no matter who they bring on, who they sub off and on, they're able to pass the ball into space. They did it down the right hand side when they were in our half of the pitch. They pass into space. They don't necessarily pass to each other. They're very, very quick thinking. We're sort of looking up to see who we can pass to. We don't really make much progression, and we end up just passing the ball back. So I really hope that during the transfer window, again, the only thing that's going to solve this is the transfer window, is that we make some signings and we don't just think of our first 11, we think of a plan B. You always need your plan B, and that's not just due to quality, that's just to cover injuries, to cover players not being able to play for whatever conflicting reasons. You know, just you've got to think of everything. We don't have a plan B. We had players on the bench that I hadn't seen feature in the Premier League at all this season, let alone the Champions League, and especially against Bayern Munich. You know, you sort of need quality on and off the pitch, and in the first leg at Stamford Bridge they had like Coutinho on the bench, so you know they've got that quality, and they can bring on any time, and when one of their players is tired, and they're going to be replaced by someone just as good, a player just as good. So we need a plan B. We don't have that at the moment, and that's what really frustrates me, and I'm sure it frustrates Frank Lampard as well. In at number 5 then, and my last point I'm going to make, which maybe not all of you agree with, is I think the players are tired. I don't just mean mentally, I mean physically. I don't just mean physically, I mean mentally as well. I think the virus, although you may see it as a break, it's not so good for athletes. I know all teams have been in the same boat, but we are a team that's had no transfer window. We are a team that's had the youngsters come in with little or no Premier League experience, and I'm not to say that I think they've done a bad job. I think Mason's had a very good season, especially I think he always puts in the maximum effort. I think you can tell especially when I sit Matthew Ardin lower, right in front of the corner flag, you can just see he's so focused on the game. It's very different when you watch things on TV to when you watch it in person, but you do need experienced players around you, and I think we're just a team that really struggled towards the second half of the season. I think we did fantastic to get top 4, but I think in this game we didn't look like we were up for it. I think we gave up shortly after the second goal went in, and it didn't look like we were going to go through at all. I think if you look back to our 2012 Champions League game against Barcelona, the year we won it, the odds were against us. Terry had been sent off, and we had the belief and the mentality to go on and win that game. That's the only thing that I can think of that got us through, because everything was against us, and Barcelona are a fantastic team. We were away from home, and did I see any sort of resemblance in this game to that? No, not so much, you know. So it's very hard to come back from the 3-goal deficit anyway from the first leg, but we didn't look like we were in the game at all. I think they all need to go on a bit of a holiday, which may sound like I'm not patronising, but I'm sort of giving them a free card. That's not the case at all. I just think that for a new team, especially a team that don't have a lot of experience alongside the youngsters, especially when our most experienced players like Kante have been out for a lot of the season, that you're going to struggle. And I really hope that next season we correct these wrongs and can just look forward to having a better season all round, that we can actually challenge for these trophies. We need to win a trophy or two next season. I think it's imperative to make sure that Frank Lampard keeps his job, and that's only going to be solved by a rest. I think they need to come back. I think they need to train really hard in pre-season. I think we need to get as many signings in as quickly as possible so they can all train together, gel together, know how each other work, and just hopefully we don't see some of the defensive errors, especially that we do against Bayern Munich and in so many games this season. That's all I can say. It's the same stuff I say every week, but it's same problems, and I don't feel like they get any better. I feel like they get worse every week, like I said. And yeah, same problems every single week, same 5 reasons why, because nothing's getting any better, it's only getting worse. So I'm just thankful that the season is now over, that we can focus on getting some new players in and be fresh for next season and really, really be contenders in these competitions, especially the Champions League. So there you have it. Those are the 5 reasons why I believe we lost against Bayern Munich and made a swift exit from the Champions League. I just want to put on a last note, I'm glad the season's over now. I hope everybody has stayed safe during the coronavirus. I hope you're all still following the guidance, and I just hope that this is all over soon and that next season we can come back and hopefully us fans will be back at the Bridge. I know everybody's missing it a lot. Football's not just a game, it's, you know, about going with your friends, with your family and making a lot of memories. And it's been a tough year, I think, all round. So I hope everybody's safe and well. And from now on, now we've finished our last game, we're going to be talking about all the transfers that come in daily, weekly, and let's fingers crossed. I'm talking about some defenders very soon, and fingers crossed we're going to sign a couple more forwards. That would be great, wouldn't it? Go on, you Blues.